And we're live. Once again, this is Douglas Lattimore and Mr. Abdullah Mosey Bey. Did you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, all right. Well, thank you, brother, for having me. I am Abdullah El Tale Mosi Bey. I am co-founder of the Moroccan Post School of Government International Law, and also the founder and editor-in-chief of the More Civil Letter newspaper, the founder and editor-in-chief of the Moroccan Post, the Moors and Masonry, uh, the Moroccan Moors and Masonry newspaper, and I'm also I was a teacher of etymology at Temple University Pan African Study Community Education Program from 2000 and 2003 to 2019. And I'm author of Moors and Masonry Part One, Masonic Coppin Square, and a host of other books. And thank you for having me. I'm
Yeah,
also a proud father of a 19-year-old who's be finishing her first year of college, a track star.
nice. Nice. Yeah, I ran track in high school.
Yeah, I did too. She's a sprinter. I was a distant runner.
You also have a conference coming up, multi-city conference.
Yes, we have. I'm working with Luisa Flores and Rahim Alabay, president and founder of the Media on the Mind Civic Association. Luisa Flores is the community outreach coordinator. Both of them will be hosting King Al Bay on April 2nd at this a mansion in East Orange, New Jersey. King will be broadcast live via Zoom on that's from 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on May 16th in Queens, Jamaica, Queens, New York, King Al Bay will be Luisa Flores and the Media on the Mind Civic Association will be hosting King Al Bay on May 16th. That is from 12 to 4, I think 12 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. King Al Bay and I will be in Hardyville, South Carolina on August 16th at the Aguape Life Center. And I think that's from 2:30 until 10 o'clock. And we're planning a 4 or 5 city tour in July. You'll probably Camden, Philadelphia, Wilmington, Jamaica, Queens, Jersey City, East Orange might be opening up too. So it might be 6 city. Well, King Al Bay will be flying out here with, and we'll be doing a 6 or 7 city tour. And it's opening up every day. You know what I mean? The outreach in North Jersey and North New York, Camden, Wilmington, Philadelphia. You know, also looking to have King look the brother Sifa out in Jacksonville, Florida. Is scheduling to host King and me and in October. You're part of that in
Yeah,
October. We still the day has been solidified, but you know you are part of that. You actually seen the event place.
right, right.
Hmm.
All right.
And it's growing every day. You know, Mama Sonic connections in Cleveland and Cincinnati. You know, so the outreach is growing, and we probably have about close to 1 million in about a year or two.
Good,
And
good.
that's not exaggerating.
Right,
I don't exaggerate. I don't
right.
I don't play those games.
All right. So the topic for today is the political power, the political power of the buried identity of the so-called Black people. So that's the topic for today. I need to fix the typo in the title of the video. But
Mhm.
did you want to go ahead and start on?
Yes, that absolutely. In fact, this is the subtitle of our King of our event, our lecture in Hardyville, South Carolina, August 16th. This is the subtitle. The main title is Restoration, Subjugation to Restoration. And so I actually took the subtitle, and I'm going to focus on that tonight. The political power of the buried identity of the so-called Black people. And we look at this. Uh, so we have here so-called Black people. So why did I so-called Black people? Let's analyze that. Black people. Well, that is that term Black people is a fiction, because Black is a fiction. There's no existence. There's no Black has no character of nationality or civil and political polity. Black has never been known or recognized or as belonging to the family nation, the Black people, because Black's not a people. Black's a fiction in law. Like, people is an existence. There's existence, but then the people are identified by nationality. Irish people, Scottish people, French people, German people, Japanese people, Russian people, Iraqi people, Iranian people, by national names. So you have in constitutions, you would have the Senegalese constitution, the people of Senegal. And that refers to popular sovereignty. And that means that that phrase, that political phrase, the people, that's a political phrase. And then of, synagogue, of is the preposition indicating belonging to or genitive form. So, but Black doesn't fit in that framework. Black and Negro is a Spanish word. It's an adjective in the Spanish grammar. Its function is that of an adjective describing inanimate objects. All right. So we have a car. So we have demonstrative pronouns. This, that, these, and those are demonstrative pronouns. This, these, and those are plural. All right. And this refers to that near, and these refers to a plural that's near. That refers to, and those, distance. So we have the aspect of plural and distance and near. So I say this car. So I'm pointing to the car, this car. If I want to describe it, this black car. Like, you wouldn't say this black. Like, nobody in the world will say this black. No one on this planet will point to a car and say this black. This black. Now you say this car or this black car, but you wouldn't say this black. But you see, and this is part of the social engineering. That thinking that black is a people. That's part of the social engineering. Now you have Carl Linnaeus in 1615 and 1758. Carl Linnaeus, a Swedish naturalist, in his third edition of Systema Naturae, using black, white, red, and yellow in the Latin words Europus albis, Niger, and he used that to describe complexion of people from 4 continents. But what that does is it has stripped the people of our people of their culture, nationality, and cultural identity. So the political power of the buried identity. So what is the buried identity of our people? We are Moors. In the 1560 Geneva Bible, in 11 or 12 verses, Jeremiah 10:23, Jeremiah 10:13, and 10 other verses, you'll see the word black Moor spelled lowercase b, LACKE, space, uppercase, capital M, ORE. Notice that space. Notice the spelling. Black is spelled with a lowercase b. Moor is spelled with a capital M. That's in the 1560 Geneva Bible. In the 1599 Geneva Bible, Blackmore is spelled lowercase b, LACK, space, capital M, OOR. In the King James Version, same verses, same language, but it's the King James Version. Blackamoor is not removed and replaced by Ethiopian 13 years later. So throughout the 1500s, we have Blackmore. And Blackmore spelled with a lowercase b, the space, and Moore spelled with capital M. Interesting. Throughout the 16, 17, 1800s, Blackmore is now Blackamoor, where now Blackamoor is spelled lowercase b, LACK, A, then the lowercase m, OOR. And Blackmore, so it's less obvious. It's less conspicuous. We have Blackmore. Yep, there you go. There you go.
Okay, so
yes.
I missed. Okay, this is the second version. Black.
That's the second version. That's the 15. Yeah, go the 15. All right, that's that's 1599 Geneva Bible.
This one's 1599.
Yeah, 1599 Geneva Bible.
Okay.
And then above that, BL.
Lowercase b?
Yeah, lowercase b. I'm sorry, lowercase b, LACKE, space, up capital M, ORE. Thank you, Brother Douglas.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the 1560 Geneva Bible. That's 1560. So we have 1560, 1599, and 1611 King James Version, Ethiopian.
Okay.
And then we have Blackamoor. Put the A.
Is it a space?
No space. No space. A, M, lowercase m, lowercase m, OOR. That's throughout the 16, 17, 1800s.
Okay.
And it was used interchangeably with Negro Ethiopian. You see that in dictionaries. You see that in encyclopedias. You see that in short stories, plays. Yes. That one. That's predominant during the 16, 17, 1800s.
It was interchanged with Negro and
Negro and Ethiopian. Yes.
Okay.
For 300 years. All right. Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you for that. And that's important because you want to give people references. So Why? What happened? What happened that you don't see black more? This was predominant. Like you don't see more and black more and black more in the literature. This was predominant in literature, plays, short stories, dictionaries, encyclopedias. This was that which was predominant in Bibles. That was predominant in literature, predominant in speech. You don't hear it at all. What happened that you don't hear it at all? Like what throughout the 1900s. You don't see it in literature, short stories, plays, but you see it in literature in 15, 16, 1700s, and even we go back with more 700, 800, 900, 1100, 1200, 1300s. You see more in the 600 years of captivity records of the Trinitarian and Mercedarian. You see more in treaties and letters and captivity records and amity records and estate records and mercantile records and consular records, ambassador records. What happened? This is important that that we have to expose this. Now you have on the back of my book, More Information Part 1, I have a quote by Robert Davis, who was professor of Italian Renaissance history at Ohio State University. His quote is, the enslavement of Europeans doesn't fit the general theme of European world conquest and colonization, which is central to the scholarship in the early modern era. So who was enslaving the Europeans? The Moors. But it doesn't fit the theme of European conquest and colonization, which is central to the scholarship in the early modern era. Because you place Moorish power in the equation. Of course it doesn't fit the theme. So what they did was remove our power, remove our capturing their ships, remove the treaty relationships, remove the war and battles, remove the annual tribute payments. So when you are reading about the 15 and 16 and 1700s, you're just reading about Spain and the Dutch Republic, the Netherlands, France, and England, and Great Britain, Sweden, Portugal. What about the Moors? The Ottoman Empire? The Moroccan Empire? The Moors, the Turks? What about, hold on. You took a class in medieval history? And you don't know nothing about the Moors? So you didn't take a class in medieval history? Yes, I did, Abdullah. No, you did not. Yes, I did, because the course was called Medieval History. Oh, all right, I'm not disputing that the course was called that. I'm saying you didn't learn medieval history. If you don't know nothing about the Moors, you couldn't have not learned medieval history. Medieval, or the Middle Ages, is between the 700s and 1492. What was happening between the 700 and 1492 in Europe? Here we go. Macquarie, M-A-C-Q-U-E-R-I, Maqqi, Macquarie, the dynasties, Mohammedan dynasties in Spain. Mohammedan dynasties in Spain, volume 1 and 2. The first volume written in 1837. By Mohammedan dynasties in Spain, volumes 1 and 2. Then you have S.P. Scott's books, 3 volumes, 1880s. The Moorish Empire in Europe, volumes 1, 2, and 3, and each volume is 600 pages long. So that's the medieval, that's the Middle Ages. So you have these universities that quote unquote, their courses are called the Middle Ages, or they have what they call the Middle Ages, what's called the School of the Middle Ages or Middle Ages section of the university. But they're not teaching about the Middle Ages. We are predominant. If you don't see people throughout the textbook that look like me and you, Douglas, that's not Middle Ages. If we're not in the textbook predominant that look like me and you, if you see people that look like Donald Trump throughout the textbook, then that's not Middle Ages. I'm doing it this way, Douglas. All right, it's just I'm taking this approach because you have these quote unquote Afrocentric folks. I said quote unquote Afrocentric folks that make the claim only white people history is taught in schools. No, it's not. European history is not taught in schools. Show me where European history is taught in schools. There's no European history without us.
Right.
There ain't no European history, Douglas, without us.
Right.
So how do you go teach European history without us? See the concepts? I continue to say that it's not a lot. It's proper concepts, proper analysis, proper framework. You're giving the people false framework because they got you thinking, that this European history is separate from us. You know what I mean? That the Europeans were over there in this part of the world, right? The Europeans, people that look like Donald Trump was in Europe, and then people that look like me and you were in Africa. That's false. That's a false paradigm. You got people, Afrocentric folks, quote unquote Afrocentric folks that have that false paradigm.
Right.
No, people that look like me and you and Doug, Europe. People that look like me in Europe, Africa, North America, South America, Central America, Asia, Australia. Let's start there. What's the false paradigm? People that look like me and you, continent Africa. People that look like Donald Trump, Europe. That's false paradigm. You got to have the proper framework. You got to set the proper framework here. This is why you brought me on.
Yes. Now
you have questions?
I do. How do we know that we are also the Moors? Because we know that there are Moors in Europe, but how do we know that we in America are also the Moors?
All right, great question. Hear me out, y'all. That's a great question. Now, this is how we know. Portugal, Spain, France. Look at my flow chart, y'all. My flow chart. The Moors and Masonries Moors and Masonry Part 1 study guide flowchart. It's out there on Facebook and everything. Somebody pull it up. Somebody post it down on Facebook. Y'all got it. Y'all got the flowchart. The Moors and Masonry Part 1 flowchart. Here we go. What were the countries? What are the countries that have been purported to transport over 12 million quote unquote Africans from the continent of Africa to North America, South America, and Central America? And let's name them. Let's name them. Here we go. Portugal, France, the Netherlands, Dutch Republic, England / Great Britain, Spain, the 15, 16, 1700s, and it said the United States came in later. All right, here we go. That's third. Now, what are the countries that were in war with the Moors during the 15, 16, 1700s? What are the countries who were paying the Moors annual tribute during the 15, 16, 1700s? Identify the countries who were paying Moors ransom to get Europeans out of Moorish captivity. What are the countries whose ships were seized by the Moors? Here we go. Spain, Portugal, France, the Netherlands, the Dutch Republic, Spain, and the United States. But that was not doing it. That's later on the 1700s. That's what we have in common. Moors. Moors was predominant. Name Morocco and Moor was predominant among Spain, France, Netherlands, Dutch Republic, the Netherlands, Portugal, England / Great Britain. Let's set this framework now. We got to stop the proper framework. The masses of people don't know this. Let's look. Let's parallel that. Those are the same countries that have been purported to transport us out of continent Africa. They all have what? What do they all have in common?
War with the Moors.
Thank you.
Proximity with the Moors.
Thank you.
And the capture of the Moors.
With the Moors. Set that as your framework. Come on, my brothers and sisters. I'm here to raise y'all up. The political power of the buried identity of the so-called black people. This history is powerful that I'm presenting.
So what
it matters. And I ain't done.
I'm sorry. Yes.
I ain't done.
Yes.
There are how many shrine temples? Ancient Arabic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine. Europeans, 206. All use Moorish names. Why did Walter Fleming decide to establish an order and use as the headdress the Moorish fez and called it the Ancient Arabic Order of the Nobles of Mr. Shrine? Why do the Shriners design their shrine temples in the form of Moorish architecture? Why do the Shriners use Moorish names for their Moorish temples? The Grottos, the mystic order of the Veiled Prophet of the Chanted Round, established in Hamilton, New York in 1850. 150 of them in the United States jurisdiction use what? The Moorish Black Fez. And use Moorish names for their what? Grotto temples. Why Moorish names? Why the Moorish Fez? I ain't done. The annual festival of the Reconquista in Valencia, Spain. This is, look it up, the annual festival of the Reconquista. And they have this elaborate reacting the Crusades. And what? The Crusades were, why were the Crusades established? I mean, the Crusades were launched against the Moors. The Night Orders were established, why? To fight against who? The Night Orders were established to fight against who? The Moors. Did I say the name Moor Morocco was predominant?
Yes.
Not only during the 1560s, 1700s, 700s, 800s, 900s. And among them, you also had what? That with the Night Orders, the Trinitarian and Mercedarian. The Trinitarian established in 1198. The Mercedarian established in 1218. These are two major captivity orders that were established for the sole purpose to raise finance to get Europeans out of Moorish captivity, to get the Dutch, the Swedes, the French, the Spaniards, the Irish, the French. Talk to me. There we go.
Wait, can you, maybe 3 sentences ago, I got cut off. I don't know if it cut off for the rest of the audience, but
yeah,
I can hear you.
Yes. I was saying that the Mercedarian and the Trinitarian, these are two major captivity orders that's still in existence. All right. There's 600 years of captivity records. The Trinitarian established in 1198. Mercedarian in 1218. They were established for the sole purpose of raising finance to get Europeans more out of Moorish captivity, get the French, Dutch, the Danes, the Swedes, the English, the Irish, the Scottish out of Moorish captivity. Thousands of missions, redemption missions. Millions of dollars raised. This is not some little no. This is not some. I ain't done. In 2016, there was a conference, a Barbary captivity conference held in Austria in June of 2016. Over 28 scholars were there as keynote speakers and panelists. A half of whom I referenced in Moorish Masonry Part 1 and 2. They were there in your honor. They were there in our honor. They were there in our honor. It's the captivity conference. They were there discussing us. These are scholars. These are professors, well acclaimed, that teach at major universities. I reference half of them in Moorish Masonry Part 1 and 2. I got a support base. They my support too. That conference is my support of my work. I reference them. I might reach out to Linda Cowley, bring her on. I'm gonna reach out to Professor Linda Cowley, European.
Yes. And
see if she come on Moorish Masonry. Why? Well, I'm not gonna reach out to people that look like me and you, because I'm not gonna reach out to no quote unquote black scholar, because they don't, this is not the area of research. Why would I reach out to them? This is not the area of research. So I have to reach out to Linda Cowley, who I reference in Moorish Masonry. Linda Cowley, who I highly respect, who I reference in Moorish Masonry, Part 1 and 2. Linda Cowley, professor of history in English at Princeton University. She was at Yale. This is why I respect Linda Colley. Linda Colley was under attack. Linda Colley was under verbal attack by people that look like Donald. Linda Colley looks like Donald Trump, but she's a female. When I say look like Donald Trump, they're males. Linda Colley was under verbal attack by males that look like Donald Trump. Why? Because Linda Colley's specialty is captivity narratives. What they call quote unquote slave narratives. You only think about slave narratives about us, right? No. They wrote narratives about their experience, their captivity, Moorish captivity. That's her specialty. They don't want this information out.
What grade level do people learn about the Moorish presence in the world?
Well, these courses are electives. They're not even part of no grade levels.
Yeah.
No grade levels.
What about the people who are the so-called Black Americans inside the Masonic halls?
They don't learn it either.
They don't learn it as part of their curriculum?
No. In fact, Elkanan told me back in September, when I sent Elkanan, he's been on Moors and Masonry a few times, 35 years. Elkanan, 35 years as a Mason, been a Shriner for over 20 years. When I sent Elkanan in September, photos of parades, of Shriners parades wearing our Moorish regalia. This is a brother, a Shriner who's been active for 35 years. He said to me, he never saw European Shriners that in full Moorish regalia. He only saw European Shriners in suits, with the fez, but in suits.
Right.
But when I sent him, I posted these pictures on Moors Mason, my Facebook, TikTok, in August and September, October, November, December. I'll continue to post them. I'll post them tomorrow. They're in full Moorish regalia. He was like, what? I never saw this before. He was, man, we're not talking about an outsider. We're talking about a Shriner. He never saw it. He saw Europeans was wearing our fez, Moorish fez, only in suits. So look what effect it had on him to see the images, those pictures. They're parading in full Moorish regalia. 1898 parade, 1910 parade, 1920 parade, 1928, 1930 parade, 1940s, 1960s. This ain't important. It ain't gonna matter. They don't see us. They don't see you as, they don't care, what you call yourself. They only see us, they see us as Moors. They don't see us as niggers. They don't see us as blacks. They don't see us as coloreds. They don't see us as Negro. They see us as Moors. They see us as Moors, a people whom they conquered. Right. They don't view you as no blacks. They don't view you as Negroes, colors. They view you as Moors, a people whom they conquered, whom they've defeated, whom they've subjugated. And they have their annual festival of Via Conquista in your honor. celebrating their defeat of your butt. They see you as Moors, whom they proudly conquered. See you as no Negroes. They didn't defeat no Negroes. They ain't conquer no Negroes and blacks. They ain't conquer no colored people. Ain't no such people.
I was going to pull up some of the images of where they called the indigenous people Moors.
There you go.
So I was a little confused because it seems that these are Dutch artists that are maybe it's Dutch companies. So I didn't know if these were Dutch Moors or if these are indigenous Moors, but it would make sense that they're indigenous Moors, particularly given their headdress, their garments. But my only concern is the Moors traveled with the Dutch also. So, that they were in captivity and some were, some weren't. So I'm wondering, would it make more sense that this is an indigenous Moor and not an indigenous American Moor and not a Dutch Moor?
There's no such thing as a Dutch Moor.
Okay, why do you say?
That's two different nationalities.
Okay, well, but the Moors were in the Netherlands, or
yeah, but that don't make all right. So go visit China.
Right.
Would that make you Chinese? Could you go visit China?
Right. No.
All right. The Moorish Empire in Europe. Well, in fact, Europe. That's a Phoenician name. So let's dance now. Let's dance. The Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, over 2,000 years ago.
We come back. Okay. You're unfrozen. Wait. You said
the Carthaginians. The Carthaginians controlled the spice trade.
We probably missed like a whole paragraph of you talking.
Well, I can't read. Yeah, so I'm going back to Carthaginians. I'm talking Europe.
You're talking about the Europeans, and you.
Yeah, the name Europe. That's a Phoenician. That's a Phoenician name.
Yeah.
All right. The Carthaginians controlled the spice trade, controlled the Iberian Peninsula over 2,000 years ago, in the spice trade in the Iberian Peninsula. Those are Carthaginians, and that's what the Phoenicians. And so the Romans took over. But prior to the Romans was the Carthaginians and the Phoenicians. Spain, that's Rome, Hispaniola. Those are Spanish, those are Roman provinces, but they were prior to that, they were Phoenician provinces. Like, we have to look at the history, though. We have to look at this history, the chronology of the history. What's the question?
It looks like, how do we know that we in America are also Moors?
Oh, I answered the question to your mother. Your mother came in late.
Yeah. Well, actually, she was here. I just pulled the question up late.
Oh, all right. Oh, thank you, Dr. Pruitt. So, yes, thank you. Yeah, that I definitely answer that. Yeah. I thoroughly answer that because I showed the correlation there.
Okay. You said the United States paid the Moors. Okay, that's right. George Washington was paying tribute to the Sultan.
Absolutely. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, who was the Secretary of State under George Washington administration. Mm-hmm. He wanted to go to war against us. George Washington wanted to maintain the 300-year of European customary practice of paying annual tribute to the Moors. Mm-hmm. This is major history here. We know we're Moors because black was applied to the Moors. We did get it black. We talked about that. So yes, that was already yes. We broke that down. Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
So
put two of that back up. Yeah, there you
ethnicity,
go.
right.
Yeah.
So they were obviously the Moors are the people they were pushing black on. So
Yes.
okay, and then
Absolutely. That's what he's talking about. There you go, Douglas.
they take away the Moor and just call it black.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's
Absolutely.
how we know that we're Moors because we're the people that they're calling black.
Absolutely. That's one aspect. But I'm coming from different angles. I could come from a lot of sources now.
Right.
But that's major though. What you just showed is major.
Yeah.
That's not something that's small though. But that's just a story. Those are sources.
Okay, let's someone was saying they were
Different spelling. Actually, you got the French form, Dutch form, you got Italian form, you got Danish form. J. Rogers' book, Nature Knows No Color Line, Chapter 6. He has about 20 different forms: French, Dutch, Danish, Irish, Scottish form, German form, English form of Moore in his book, Nature Knows No Color Line. I want to give people the sources. Get that book, Chapter 6, Nature Knows No Color Line, and European aristocratic Moor in the Moors and the coat of arms of European aristocratic families. Now, J. Rogers displays over 100 coat of arms and family crests of dark-skinned Moors. And these European family crests.
Okay, I was seeing if
what I realized, Doug.
Yes.
Is that a lot of conscious Moors because a lot of conscious Moors they've been busy dealing with court cases and so the history's not been important to them. Like because they don't see the value of the history. Because we in this survival. We're in survival because I understand because they don't see unity, they don't see institutions. I get it. So we survival mode, survival mode. I got a mortgage, I got my get foreclosed on. Survival mode. But what happens is that's never ending. That's never ending. So we never get closer to recovering our lost Moor sovereignty. It's never ending. We got to build institutions. We got to organize. We have to outreach network. We can't just think just the survival mode. We have to use strategic planning. We have to use the swap analysis. We have to have plan of action. We have to understand logistics. We have to network. We have to collaborate. Luisa Flores, and Rahim Al-Abay. Rahim Al-Abay is the founder and the founder and president of the Meeting of the Mind Civic Association. Luisa Flores is the community outreach coordinator. Both of them combined. I don't exaggerate. I don't play those games. Both of them combined have a network of hear me out, over 200 organizations. Over 200 organizations. I don't exaggerate. I don't play those games. I don't care about impressing y'all. I don't care anything about impressing y'all. I care about raising y'all up, providing documentary evidence. I don't care nothing about impressing people.
I had a question. So the spelling of America for whoever named this landmass America, seems that they were referring to the indigenous people being the Moors, or Mori, the I being the plural. MER is the English variation of Moor that refers to water, and also refers, well, let me just say it's the English variation of Moor. And then the I is like Mori, is the plural, like um, I can get into how I is plural, but it looks like it's saying the land, the CA meaning land. So it looks like it's saying land of the Moors. Would you see
Well,
my?
that I don't have the linguistics to support that. So that's something that I have to look up. Is what you're saying. You want to support. You want to have the linguistic knowledge to references to support what you're saying.
Mhm.
All right. Now, what I can give you is what I have on my Moors and Masonry study guide flowchart. So let's look at
I
that.
had the flow chart.
Yeah,
Let me pull
bring
it
up
up.
the flowchart.
Well, okay, you're gonna have to tell me which one. I'm gonna pull it up, and you'll
Yeah,
tell
the
me.
colorful, the orange, red, the Moors and Masonry Part 1 study guide flowchart. I sent that to you 2 weeks ago.
Okay, well, okay.
I texted to you. Well, anyway, so I don't want to have a dead space.
Well, do you see this here? Can you see what's on my screen?
I
Is it
see what's on your screen.
any of these?
No, I texted to you about
Okay.
2 weeks ago.
Okay, well, I'll look for it, and we can just keep talking.
All right, yeah, keep talking. I don't want to have dead space here.
Yes.
So let's go back to the America, the name.
Yes.
Now we look at, once again, because let's provide some support here. So here, with a little support in what Douglas was presenting from a historical perspective. Once again, what do Portugal, France, Spain, the Netherlands, the Dutch Republic, England / Great Britain all have in common? There is support on what Douglas is saying. What do they all have in common?
Proximity to the Moors, war with the Moors.
Thank you. That's major. So so now what you do, Douglas, come on, my audience, please listen to me. So you present that information. Then you say, it could be plausible. Therefore, I'm going to just teach them how to argue. You present those facts. Therefore, it is plausible that then you bring in what Douglas is saying. Therefore, it is plausible. See what I just did? I'm just teaching them how to structure arguments.
Yes. I've also heard that this could be a variation of Morocco or Al Morocco.
Once again, you can start with what I gave you. They say, therefore, it's plausible that this could be a variation of Morocco. So what you do, we got to teach them this, Douglas. You lay out the commonality that Portugal, France, Spain, the Dutch Republic, the Netherlands, England / Great Britain, all have in common with the Moors. All that have in common,
Yes.
right? There you go. Therefore, it is plausible that the name Morocco and Moor, there's a correlation between the name Morocco and the Moor. That's plausible. Based on this historical facts, based on the commonality that these nation states have with the Moors, therefore, it is plausible that the name Morocco, and there's a correlation between the name Morocco and the name America.
Mm-hmm.
See what I just did?
Yes.
So now that just opens the doors, to say it's plausible. And then you do first, but you're late, but you're not just coming out of the thin air though.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make the statement out of thin air.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just teaching them how to structure arguments. That's all.
Right, right. And then so the vowels are interchangeable in Latin language,
Absolutely.
and some of
Mm-hmm.
the vowels are just how you make a sound with your mouth.
How you exactly. Yeah, the
Yeah.
vowels are just because vowels are secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the consonant is the main structure, not the vowels. The
Right.
vowel ain't the main structure.
So we could omit
You can omit the vowels because
yeah,
that's
okay,
not the vowels is not part of the main structure.
right, right.
Because you can change the vowels and just you said that just change it. The pronunciation. It's called vowel shifts. It's called umlaut. It's called a ablaut and umlaut ablaut alaut. When you're dealing with umlaut and ablaut, you look at that vowel shifts, and the vowel shifts that affects the pronunciation. The structure is the consonant.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to give them some linguistic terminology.
Yes. So also we have the.
So I can also come from linguistics,
Yeah.
history, etymology, grammar. We can do grammar, we can dance all night with grammar.
Now, what about the treaty between Morocco and the United States? I read the treaty.
Yeah, that's later though. That's
Okay.
later. The United States is later though.
I see.
All right. And what about it? That's later.
Yeah. Well, does it establish Morocco's presence here in
No,
America?
no, absolutely not.
Okay.
There's nothing in that treaty that is not indicate that states that.
Right.
There's no article in that treaty that states what you're saying, that supports what you're saying.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
I know Conscious Moore say that, but on what basis are they making the claim? There's enough. You have to go to the treaty itself and point to articles or to the substantive language in the particular articles in the treaty.
Right.
And no.
Mm-hmm.
I've read it several times over the years. Oh no.
Right.
In fact, I used to make those claims, those outlandish claims. Once again, I'll raise my hand. Everybody knows. I admit to my misconceptions. Everybody knows that. Because I can't lie about it. I got too many videos out there. There's too many videos that y'all can smack me in my face with about my misconceptions. Everybody's aware of my misconceptions. Everybody's aware of that.
So what do we do once we come into the knowledge that we are Moors? So
All right.
What's the next step?
All right. Now for 112 years, let's look at this. For 112 years, we have been working to recover our lost Moorish sovereignty. Let me explain. 112 years ago, Juali establishing organizational structure, the Moorish Science Temple of America. And he taught an organizational structure. So let's analyze what Juali did in the framework of international law, not United States laws, not United States Constitution, not Illinois State Constitution, in the framework of international law. So you have one that rose among us and taught an organizational structure who we are. Let's analyze what is the framework in international law. A defeated people, one rising among us, teaching who we are, an organizational structure What does that mean in the framework of international law? Restoration. Restoring the Moorish national consciousness of a people. So he taught us that we're Moors, restoring our Moorish national consciousness. That is what? In international law, you have restoration. Under restoration, you have returning a people. That's an act of returning a people to their original condition and status. He also addressed the act of subjugation. You're not Negro, colored, black. So he's addressing an act of subjugation, being stripped of our nationality and cultural identity. When you analyze it in the framework of international law, it takes on a whole different meaning. Not in the framework of the United States Constitution. Not in the framework of Illinois Constitution, Illinois State Constitution, state codes. Not United States laws. International law of restoration, reversion of sovereignty, post-millennium, or self-determination, addressing subjugation, the stripping of our people of their nationality and cultural identity, forced assimilation. The United States forcing us into their legal system and placing us into a new citizenship framework. That's international law. That's not United States laws. The problem is those in I'm not gonna say it. Let me leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone, bro, because I'm gonna leave it alone. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say it. I'll pull back.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be under attack I'm trying to facilitate unity among the different organizations.
Yes.
So I don't want to attack a particular organization. So that's why I stopped.
Okay.
So I was about to attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad I refrained. I don't want to attack.
Right. So, well, I'm trying to think if this is an okay question. So I hear some people who what you would call a conscious Moor, someone who openly identifies as a Moor in the Americas. So some of the Moors will say that you can't be a Moor unless you're a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And
all right.
They'll also say if there's some they also say if there's some like if you do something that's wrong, that they consider wrong, that you also aren't a Moor. So you can not be a Moor by your deed, or you cannot be a Moor because you disobeyed or don't join the Moorish Science Temple of America.
All right, so I'm going to give you 4 frameworks. Let's analyze nationality into these 4 frameworks. You have the consanguineous aspect of nationality. Consanguinity, ancestry, lineage, descent, pedigree, parentage, national origin, ancestry. That's the consanguineous aspect of nationality. You have the socio-culture aspect of nationality. Headdress, food, rituals, celebrations, holidays, ceremonies, clothing, dance. That's the socio-culture aspect of nationality. You have the political framework of nationality. So I'm going to explain the political framework of nationality, which defines the national identity of the people. Here's an example. In the Senegalese constitution, you have the political phrase which refers to popular sovereignty, the people of synagogue. That's the political framework. The people of synagogue. What that means refers to popular sovereignty, that the collective sovereignty of the people of synagogue are vested in the Senegalese constitution and exercised through their qualified elected representatives. Then you have that also within the political framework of nationality. You could then here we go. So when you also have is the consanguineous and social culture aspect of nationality is protected within the political framework of the nationality. You have drafted in the Senegalese constitution. You have the official language of synagogue. So when you draft it in a constitution, holidays or official language, ceremonies, and when it's drafted in a constitution, what that is the political, the consanguineous and social culture aspect of nationality is being protected within the political framework of nationality. Here we go. That which is not drafted in the Constitution, it's legislated. Now you have the legal aspect of nationality, framework of nationality. All right. The Senegalese, the official Senegalese constitution holidays are let's do legislation. So you see how the social culture aspect of nationality and the political the consequent aspect of nationality is protected in the political and legal framework of nationality. That's how that works. This is all over the world. So you're not a Moor. That's your consanguinity. That's your ancestry. That's your lineage, your national origin, your descent, your pedigree. Who are they? That's who you are. So hold on. So you're not a Moor. We are, Juali said we're not, what? Juali said we're what? Juali said we're what? Juali said what? We're more and not. We're not.
Negro, black, and colored.
Thank you. I don't want to attack. I'm not going to attack, so I'm gonna leave that alone.
Right, and I didn't mean to.
No. You fine. It's me. I have to respond a certain way, but right. I don't want to attack.
Yeah. That's a concern of mine.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to. I'm working to facilitate unity. You know what I mean? So I'm going to stay away for attacks.
Yes. Now, how do
I have attacked in the past. I have attacked publicly in the past. So, and I've learned that was, we had, and Terrence and I've had discussions on that. And, I've agreed to not do any open attacks. Mm-hmm. All right. So that's why I'm refraining from attacking. So I have done it. I've done it on Moorish Monday. I've attacked live. I have. So I have to admit that. But I've learned, you know what I mean? That is not productive. That's counterproductive. So I'm not going to launch any attacks.
How do the Moors that are not affiliated with the Moorish Science Temple of America and those who are affiliated with the Moorish Science Temple, how do we work together to reclaim our lost sovereignty?
Because of Luisa Flores, who will be on my Moorish Monday on Monday. She'll be for the second time. She'll be my guest on Moorish Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Rahim Al-Abe, who is president and founder of the Media on the Mind Civic Association. They're both listening to me. Once again, they have their outreach. They have a network of over 200 organizations. They're unconscious Moors. So we have large networks of unconscious Moors that we're working to collaborate, all right, to facilitate the consciousness. So our outreach is more unconscious Moors. We have Raheem and Louisa was at the East Orange yesterday, where King Al Bay will be speaking on April 2nd, be broadcast in through Zoom at the East Orange, and I will be there with them on April 2nd in East Orange, New Jersey, at the mansion. There was an event called Know Your Rights, and Louisa Flores and Raheem Al Bay were there, and they network with different organizations. Unconscious Moors. Raheem Al Bay was at the United Nations today. He met 10, name it, 10 I think 7. He met 10 people. I think 7 of them are unconscious Moors. They have outreach themselves. So our outreach is mostly unconscious Moors. And that could be in the tune of hundreds of thousands. I don't exaggerate, because I'm looking at networks. I'm looking at networks, organizations. That's in the tune of hundreds of thousands. I hear you. I know you questioned about conscious Moors, but I have to let you know our network,
yes,
our outreach, it's mostly unconscious Moors. These unconscious Moors are boots on the ground outreach in the community. We're going to collaborate with them, facilitate Moorish consciousness among them. So our focus, our current outreach and network of that will constitute hundreds of thousands, over 200 organizations, I don't exaggerate, are unconscious Moors. Louisa Flores and Raheem Al Bay. If I'm lying, put it in. Abdullah, you're a liar. Type it in right now if I'm lying. My Masonic connection in Cleveland, Cincinnati, unconscious Moors. They're conscious, both of them, but they have their connections are unconscious Moors. That we're going to facilitate consciousness among them.
Okay, so let's say I'm trying to see what the progression is. Okay, So we travel around what is currently called the United States. We explain that we're Moors, that this is our nationality. And then from there, we recognize ourselves as a nation. And then is it that we have to have another nation also recognize?
All right, so let me address that. So you said travel around. All right, so right now, they're New York, North Jersey, with the 5 boroughs in New York, and we're looking at about 10 cities in North Jersey. That is where a bulk of the unconscious organizations connections that we have because of Louisa Flores and Raheem Al Bay. We have outreach in Jacksonville with Alcifa and South Carolina and so forth. But like I said, that is to facilitate education. All right. We have a plan of action. We have a logistic plan. We have courses that's going to be set up. We have books, and we're going to work to organize them through Telegram meetings, WhatsApp meetings, and that as the network grows and the education grows, once again, the international principle, the international legal process of restoration, it being known as reversion of sovereignty or post-dominium or self-determination. Mm-hmm. But the key right is to what? Educate, collaborate, network. That is what we're doing.
Okay, so after we all know that we're Moors at some point, then what? What's the
All
next
right,
step?
but then what is taught though? It's no then what, because as we educating, the then what is taught. The then what was strengthened with the network. The then what strengthens as you network and teach. The then what is reversion to sovereignty. The then what? As I said to you, Raheem went to the United Nations today. And he also went twice last week. Louisa already has connections. They have international connections. So now we're facilitating the education and networking of legal principles, of international law, of nationality. The then what is reversion to sovereignty. That will be taught in the process. The then what is the network with UNESCO. The then what is to network with those who already have connection with the United Nations. That's the then what. I'm answering the then what.
Does the
Meaning it strengthens as you bring the different organizations together, and you're educating them, bringing them under a national network. But we already have people who have international connections already. It will strengthen through the proper concepts. The problem has been for 112 years, I'm not going to attack. The problem has been misconceptions, lack of knowledge of international law, of treaty law. That lack of knowledge is the reason why we are where we are today. The misconceptions. That's why when you put
international law and then it cut off.
All right, I said international law, treaty studies, consular relations, diplomatic relations, jurisprudence, etymology, European history and Moorish history. That lack of knowledge, when you place that knowledge among people in an organized structure, that is where the power lies. It does not lie with our doing our own thing. We can't do our own thing. We can't be divided. You must, when we're not just talking about loosely educating, we're talking about collaborating, organizing, working together with the different organizations.
It kept cutting out.
All right, we're talking about organizing the different organizations with the proper knowledge. The problem has been the misconceptions. So you got it. All right. You listen to people, most likely you have misconceptions. You're making a judgment based on what you see out there right now.
We're missing big chunks of what you're saying because it keeps both of our cameras are going blank.
I don't know then.
Yeah, I'm sorry because I was trying to catch what you were saying.
All right, the problem has been the misconceptions, the weakness in the weakness in the information. You're making the judgment based on those who have been out there, those who are popular on social media, who don't have a knowledge of international law, who do not have a knowledge of jurisprudence, who do not have a knowledge of European history and Moorish history. The knowledge base has been very, very weak. Therefore, it does not facilitate, the moving forward, this movement.
Oh, really?
We're working to facilitate that change with proper knowledge, with the strong knowledge of Moorish history and European history, with strong knowledge of jurisprudence, with strong knowledge of international law, etymology, grammar, vocabulary building, as well as networking and outreaching. You're going to see the change. We mentioned King Albay, a strong knowledge in jurisprudence. This is why I hadn't gotten. This is why this movement hadn't gone anywhere. Once again, I don't want to attack, so I'm trying to refrain from attacking. I'm trying to do my best from not attacking. So you gotta. So certain things I'm trying to stay away from because I don't want to attack. Because you got people who think they got the knowledge. They think they know. He says not cutting out on my end. You hear that, Douglas? Oh, he's frozen. I'm good. So I'll continue. So it's not cutting out on my end. So that's okay. Raheem, right? Raheem mentioned that it's not cutting out on his end.
Okay. So it was cutting out on my end.
All right. So you have it is playing well or cutting. Yeah, he answered that it's not cutting out on his end.
Okay.
All right. So, and Raheem is listening. He's the president and founder of the Meeting of Minds Civic Association. Mm-hmm. I'm giving practical answers. I'm not, I don't want to overstate. I don't want to exaggerate. I'm giving practical answers of where we are in the process.
Right.
I hear too many conscious Moors who exaggerate, who overstate things, and I'm being very careful not to do that. I am not here to impress anyone. I will give you where we are in the process. I don't exaggerate about Luisa Flores and Raheem. I did not make any exaggerative statements about Luisa Flores and Raheem Albay. I don't exaggerate. I don't care about impressing y'all. What I do care about is educating y'all. What I do care about is raising y'all with proper concepts. But I don't care about impressing. That means nothing to me.
I have another question. You know how Morocco acknowledged the United States. It acknowledged the United States sovereignty and even their existence. And it seems
Yeah, you're the one that's cutting off, brother.
I'm the one that's cutting off?
Yeah, you froze, man. It's coming on your end.
Okay, yeah.
I'm cool. I mean, I haven't frozen at all. So I mean, okay. But you've done frozen a couple of times. That's okay. So what happens is it's on your end, Douglas. So when I speak, you can't hear me, but the audience can hear me.
Okay. Well, as long as they can hear you, I'm
as long as the audience is that's the key. The audience can hear it.
Right. So my question was about Morocco acknowledging the United States. It acknowledged the United States sovereignty and even their existence. And it seems like to me that gave the United States a greater standing in the world.
It wasn't Morocco.
It wasn't Morocco.
I'm going to explain.
Okay. It was the Sultan.
It wasn't led by Morocco. No, it wasn't led by the Sultan. I'm going to explain.
Okay. Well, then.
Let me explain. I made a claim. I made a claim. So I have to support it. I have to support it.
Go ahead.
My claim is that it wasn't. I know what you read. So I'm not. I'm saying that I'm going to. There's something that you don't know, and I didn't know.
Yes.
I know what I said in the past, but I didn't have this piece of information until late 2022. It's called the Treaty between Morocco and France of 1767. The treaty between Morocco and France, look it up, y'all. It's Moore's Masonry Part 2. Moore's Masonry Part 2. When I came across that information about the treaty between Morocco and France of 1767, what I didn't know about that. When I was working on Moore's and Masonry Part 1, I didn't know about that treaty. All I knew was about Stephen de Altabot. Stephen de Altabot was appointed by Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Emperor Morocco, to be a French merchant. A French merchant was appointed by Muhammad ibn Abdullah to represent unrepresented nations. I knew that when I was working on Moore's Masonry Part 1. I didn't know why. Did ask the question why. Why would Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Emperor Morocco, appoint a French merchant to represent unrepresented nations? Like, it didn't make sense to me until late 2022. Bang, bang! The 1767 treaty between Morocco and France. In that treaty, the French merchants gained great concessions. And one of the concessions, it wasn't Muhammad ibn Abdullah. It was the French merchants that gained great concessions. And one of the concessions was that the French merchants could represent. So Muhammad ibn Abdullah was enforcing that treaty between France and Morocco. It was the French merchant that the French merchants could sponsor other nations. The French merchants sponsored the United States. It was the French merchant. It appears, I know if you don't know about this treaty, it will appear that it's Muhammad ibn Abdullah. It's because of the treaty. The French merchants gained a lot of concessions and power through that treaty. That's why Muhammad ibn Abdullah appointed a French merchant, Stephen de Altabot, to represent unrepresented nations. United States was an unrepresented nation. It was the French merchant, Stephen de Altabot, negotiated that. And Muhammad ibn Abdullah was just enforcing it. I thought the same thing, Douglas. Look up what I'm saying. The 1767 treaty between Morocco and France. I thought the same thing. But I'm not, when I come across information, I'm not going to continue teaching. I'm like, oh, I gotta shift here. I didn't know about this treaty. This treaty is huge. Because now I understood. That gave, after 20 plus years, why French merchant? Why? I said, I now know the answer. I didn't know anything about that 1767 treaty between Morocco and France. The 1631 treaty, Morocco you begin to see the shift in power. 1631 between Morocco and France, that was a death knell for France. That was a death knell treaty for France, 1631. Here we go, 136 years later. Here we go. That 1767 treaty that shows a shift in power where the French merchants had a lot of say. And their say was, we're going to represent the United States. Because that was one of the concessions that's in the treaty, that they could represent unrepresented nations. So that's why Muhammad ibn Abdullah appointed. Because of the treaty, that's why he appointed Stephen Day Altabart as consul to represent unrepresented nations. It was the French.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Are you able to see me?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll figure that out in a minute. But okay,
No problem.
so
Continue talking.
yes. So are we going to? Okay, I did miss a significant chunk of what you were saying, but I still think I'm going to listen back to the replay. But I'm wondering, would it be beneficial for another country to recognize the Moors, our sovereignty and our nationality?
It'd be beneficial for us to connect with other nation states, to connect with other people from other nation states. I think that would be very beneficial to, as what Rahim Allah Bey did. It'd be beneficial to what Luisa Flores and what Rahim Allah Bey do at the United Nations. Their presence at the United Nations is much needed. It's beneficial to what Rahim Allah Bey did 2 days last week and what he did today, and outreaching and networking with those, from other countries. It's also beneficial for what Rahim Allah Bey did last year when he went to the United Nations. Well, Rahim Allah Bey was at the Human Rights Summit June or July of last year. He'll be going back, but he didn't have what Rahim Allah Bey will be in a much stronger position now. So when he goes to the United Nations for the Human Rights Commission, Human Rights Summit, he will be in a stronger position as being president and founder of the Meeting of Minds Civic Association, and have already had a tremendous tie with his connection with Luisa Flores. His presence will be stronger then. I said this to him last year. He's listening to me. I don't exaggerate. I don't care about that. I'm not here to impress y'all. I'm here to educate. Douglas did not bring me on to impress y'all. I present finding of facts. Rahim Allah Bey and Luisa Flores are very strong in their presence and outreach and connections. You'll hear me say their name over 1,000 times before the year's out. And I say Luisa Flores will be joining me next week, Monday, Memorial Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This will be her second time, and she was on the first time in March of last year. I got great deal of love and respect for both of them.
Do you imagine a timeline that our sovereignty will be restored?
Nah, I'm just so busy. That's a good question, fair question. And then Rahim, Israel Bey, King Al Bey, Luisa Flores, Asifa, I'm just so busy of just teaching and working with King and Louisa and Raheem and Israel and Setanil, and I'm just so busy organizing and helping the networking and teaching, and King's working at a couple books out, and we got courses coming up. I'm just so busy that my mind doesn't go there. It's like I'm so busy on the work. We got April 2nd lecture. We got May 16th. We're trying to organize right now 5-city tour, might be 10-city tour. The way this thing going might be 10-city tour. Because now Edison, New Jersey is open up to us as of last week, as of last night. So, by the time July gets here, we may look at that 10-city tour, 20-city tour. This thing is growing every day. So I'm so busy, you know what I mean? And, Raheem and Louisa were at the event last night. Then they sending me pictures and had me on WhatsApp. I'm just so busy with that. Raheem sent me pictures today, throughout the day, of the 10 people we met. I'm just, so busy, working with him and Louisa and King Al Bay, and, I'm teaching in Israel, and I'm on the phone with them and outreaching, and I'm just so, my mind is just so busy with that, Asifa, Asifa, working to set me out there in Jacksonville in October.
Yeah.
Networking with Asifa and Altuza, and Nicholas. I'm just so busy with that. Because I got my hands in so many, but I know how to organize. So like my hands in are so many cookie jars. I got my hands, my Masonic connections. I'm looking to, brother Emir, who's an author, working to do a co-lecture with him in Cleveland. My Masonic connections. Then, I'm also on, every second Wednesday, Sunday of the month. I'm on the Moorish Science Temple number 84, Grand Sheik Antoine Davis Bay. So I do that every second Sunday of the month from 11 to 3. I got my Moorish Monday every Monday. That's been for 2.5 years. I had Sister Munam Nikki Love on this past Monday. Got Luisa Flores. Then Sister Ross Mariah Bay will be my guest on the 13th of April. Then I have Nina Womack is wants to come back on, and she's out in California. She has outreach also in Africa. So I'm just so busy, just connecting and organizing with Louisa and King and Israel and Setanil and Raheem and Asifa and Nicholas, and my mind doesn't. I don't have time to go there with my mind. I'm answering the question honestly, bro.
Yes. Okay, I finally got my image back up.
Mm-hmm. But I do want the people to know that we have large outreach. Yes. I want them to know that. I want them to know that we don't just deal with conscious Moors.
Is it possible to regain our sovereignty within your lifetime and my lifetime?
I've been asked that question over 1,000 times. And once again, I don't focus on that. My answer is the same answer I gave you. That question was asked over 1,000 times. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people will ask me that. I'm not saying you, so I'm not implying that you asked me that question for the reason I'm about to say. Right. They will measure how much they will get involved, if they're going to get involved at all, on whether to, based on that, if it's not going to be in my lifetime, you know what I mean? Why bother? I'm not saying you, so hear me out. I'm just, remember that question been asked over 1,000 times to me. I'm serious. Mm-hmm. But I ponder why the question. I said, could it be? And I'm not saying I'm right, but could it be that they're asking that question to measure their extent of their involvement? Because if they're not, why waste my time?
Right.
If I'm not going to enjoy it, you got children, right? Grandchildren, like, so you see how So we have to think generationally, but I know we don't. I know we don't think generationally because we're in survival mode. I get it, but we have to think generationally. I know we don't, though. We don't. We as a people do not think generationally. We don't. All right, let me explain. This check, reparation check. I ain't hear no generational discussion about these quote unquote possible reparation checks. No generational nothing. So you get, let's say, 400,000. But because our people don't think generationally, there's no economic infrastructure that will cycle that finance 20 times in the community, or 10 times, or 5 times. They're not gonna think about generational. So 400,000, it'll be going in about a year or two. These people got children. What about their grandchildren? We don't think generationally. I gotta get mines. If it ain't gonna happen in my lifetime, why bother? I heard people say that too. So I heard people say that. So I'm not just making stuff up. I've actually heard in 34 years, I've heard quite a few people say that. Quite a few people who have said I'm wasting my time. I've heard that, yes. Why do you do this, Abdullah? You're wasting your time. You're not going to enjoy your lifetime. See how they say they're measuring the extent or whether they want to get involved in at all. We don't think generationally. Like I said, I didn't come in here and impress. I don't care about impressing people. That means nothing to me. I'm going to present finding of facts and present my experience. I don't care nothing about impressing people. All right, so how much longer you want to go, brother? You frozen. All right, anyone who's interested in getting in my books, go to mooresandmasonry.org. Go to mooresandmasonry.org. There you are. All right, you're on your phone. All right, go to mooresandmasonry.org. If anyone who's interested in getting Moors and Masonry Part 1, Moors and Masonry Part 2, How Are Venus and Moon Rule, Etymology and Vocabulary, Supplementary 1, the Masonic Compass, Square, and the Connection and Measurement and Timekeeping, go to mooresandmasonry.org. Brother Douglas.
Yes.
Thank you for riding with me today, brother. Thank you for having me, man. Absolutely. I greatly appreciate you, man. This has been a great ride, man. I've had a great old time. I gotta have some levity, man. You know, can't.
This was one more question, or one more statement. If we can grasp this quick enough, we can make an impact in 5 to 10 years or less. Okay, so there's a prediction.
All right, that's good. I mean, I can see that happening. Impact. He said impact. So I mean, I'll vibe with that.
I think I pressed a
I mean,
I'm
I
aware
can. I
personally.
mean, definitely on where we at right now with the outreach we got. Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt,
Yeah.
no doubt. And the
Um,
people that I have surrounded by me, and you're one of the people that I have that I'm surrounded with. So I absolutely.
and Brother Bay, I asked for the guy who had just put the comment up. I pressed too many buttons, and apparently I pressed banned, and I didn't mean to press that. It was very close to another button. So I'll figure out how to undo that. Please, it wasn't my heart. It was my big thumbs.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, that happens.
yes. But yes, I really do appreciate you coming on. I do think that your information is very important for all of us, and that's why I stay in communication with you. That's why I've communicated with you from the very beginning. Is
And you reached
from
out to me in December
yeah
2024. Yep,
yes
2024. December
yes
2000, December 2024. Yep.
yes, and from years of listening to you and all the Moors speak, but
hmm
your what you're saying, your work is what I'm calculating to be closest to correct. So I really do appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, everyone. Um, Shout out to King Al Bay, Louisa Flores, Raheem Ala Bay, Israel Bay, Santiago Bay. All right. Nicholas, Sifa, Altuza. You know, uh, these are people who work closely with me.
Mhm.
So definitely, I greatly appreciate brother Terrence Bay.
Mhm.
So I definitely want to give those a shout out. I haven't looked at the chat. Let me go to the chat. I mean the comments. I haven't even looked at the comments. All right, here we
Someone that
go. We got
yeah
we got people on. All right, all right. And your mom
yeah
is on. Dr.
yeah
Pruitt, peace.
yeah. And someone I didn't quite catch the context for this date 2024. I can't remember exactly what we were mentioning at that time, but yes. I think I pulled up all the comments, and I'm sorry again to Mr. Bay for pressing the ban button to where
Oh yeah, the ban button. Yeah, I see you did. Yeah, all right.
oh,
Was
you can see it
removed.
too.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
bet you pressed it. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Yeah, you moved the
uh,
comment.
yeah. Here goes the comment. Islam. Yes. Um. All right. Well, everything good on your end? Did you have anything else to share
No,
for
I'm
today?
good. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I think I dropped a lot on. I dropped enough on them.
Yes. Yes.
Conceptual. Because I. Mhm.
Yeah, and I want to speak again with you.
No,
So I
anytime,
did
brother.
purchase your book. Thank you.
Anytime.
I I did
Yeah,
purchase your book,
the
as you
Venus book.
know.
Yes, yeah. I'll be sending it out. Out. Yep. You purchased the Venus book. Yes, you did.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm going to read that
Yeah. I could
and
come
then
on and
ask
talk
you
about that
questions on
next
it.
time if you want me to.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Whatever you
So
want. Yeah, we can do that.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm looking forward
In
to it.
honor of Women's History Month. So let's do it this month because we can do that in honor of Women's History Month.
All right. That sounds good.
Mhm.
Sounds good. All right. And again, I want to thank all of the everyone who came in to the audience who came in to listen to us. Everybody who's going to be on the playback listening. I'll give you a little bit of my information. I on Instagram because I am trying to build up my Instagram. I am. Let's see. Here's the little ticker that goes at the bottom. That's my Instagram. So I'm under the. Um, I am under the title or the name the Sultan. And if you look up the exact link is at Douglas Lattimore. So that's my Instagram. Here's my Cash App. If anybody cares to send a Cash App, it's at Landpire. What is your Cash App and any other any other social media that you want to include?
They can go to mooresandmasonry.org for my books.
Okay.
Yeah.
mooresandmasonry.org.
Uh-huh.
And they can purchase a book there.
Yes.
And how many books are available for purchase?
I think 7.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And the one I have is
how her Venus and Moon rule.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which I'll be reading as soon as I get that.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you again. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone for tuning in, and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also share the recording. Post the recording on your social media platforms. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.